Before we begin, here's a quick note. This video is designed for individuals who are genuinely interested in and passionate about the field of graphic design. Whether you're a beginner eager to learn, a student building a creative foundation, or a professional looking to strengthen your knowledge, this lesson is made for you. We will explore the principles that shape effective visual communication through practical explanations and real-world concepts. If you are ready to think creatively, learn continuously, and grow as a designer, then let's begin your journey into the principles of graphic design. Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and this is your host Muhammad Awan. And in today's episode, we'll be covering up the basic introduction to graphic design, the fundamentals, the basic aspects, the core elements, and everything in general about graphic designing, how you should get started into this field, and let's do it. So today's lesson we'll be covering up the design theory, and the learning objectives, as you can see, are understanding what graphic designing is, understand the design theory, learn why graphic design matters, discover where graphic design exists, develop a designer's mindset, and become familiar with the principles of design. So by the end of this lesson, you guys will be able to understand all these main points, and in the end you can also ask questions and I'll be answering them, and all the comments below you guys can ask me this question and I'll answer them in the next video. That'll be a much better way. Alright, so now graphic designing can be showcased in different ways. It can be in cinematic motion graphics, it can be brand logos, websites, mobile applications, billboards, posters, product packaging, creative studios, designers working, or any social media designs. So every day we are actually walking around the city, we are traveling the world, and we somehow seek information in different ways. Sometimes we seek information from social media, sometimes we seek information from a computer, from mobile phones, from TV, from anywhere. So everything you see on the TV in a visual communicative way is called graphic designing. Alright, so the first question is, what exactly is graphic designing? This question is very important when somebody is asking you this thing, because not everyone knows that the meaning of graphic designing is actually very complex. But of course, it's not that complex when you actually understand the meaning behind it as well. What it actually means, what it means. What is graphic and what is design. And when you combine both words, it combines into graphic designing. And why is that? So, graphic designing is the art of communicating ideas, right? Ideas through visual elements. But like I mentioned before, elements on TV, mobile phone, anywhere in the world, cinema, wherever we go. It combines creativity and strategy. So creativity and strategy are very important, and problem solving that help people understand information quickly and effectively. From logos and advertisements, and you guys see logos and advertisement every time on the TV, wherever we go, and it's part of our daily lives. We see them every day. It can be on the road, it can be on a highway, it can be anywhere in the world, right? To websites and mobile applications, like I mentioned, on websites and mobile applications you can see them every day. But the main thing is, it exists everywhere. Yes, it exists everywhere, almost everywhere, but everywhere. That's true though. It is not simply about making things attractive. No, that's not true. But it is about making them meaningful and purposeful. Now, you guys got to know about my course because of social media, from Instagram, right? So that's a way of making meaningful and purposeful, not to make things attractive. The design was attractive, but the meaning behind it was purposeful, because you guys are watching a video right now in which I'm explaining the video and the basic fundamental of it. Now, visual demonstration can be in both ways. It can be logo of any brand, it can be branding of any company, it can be poster, it can be magazine, it can be product packaging, or it can be YouTube thumbnail. So all of these things can be a visual demonstrative way, and you guys can know about them if you go on Google. Anywhere in the world you will see them. They can be demonstrated in different ways for you. Now, why exactly is it that graphic designing has a purpose, or why actually for the purpose? Now, the main thing is that graphic designing is a visual communication with a purpose. Visual communication is like you're seeing something on TV, right? And they're showing a product. They explain it to you. There's a narration happening in the video, and you see a video about a new phone, iPhone, Samsung, or whatever, right? So they're being shown to you because of a reason. They're being shown to you because they're being promoted by the company. The company is promoting the product, and they're visually communication with you for a purpose to buy the phone in any manner, right? Now that we understand what graphic design is, let's explore why it has become one of the most important creative professions in the world right now. So why exactly is graphic design important? Well, this question is raised a lot of times, and people of course confuse themselves with why is this question important. Why is graphic designing important? It's helping people to communicate clearly, to recognize brands, and understand information faster. Nowadays, businesses use it to build trust, educate people through simplified learning, and creators use it to tell something compelling, like stories or anything like that. And almost every industry has to rely on design, because strong visuals leave lasting impressions and improve communication. And that's very true, because whenever you see a visual on TV ad, or even on the phone, or you see billboard, and somehow it catches your eyes and you want to buy the product in seconds, it means that the visuals are lasting an impression. It's giving you an impression, and it's giving you a sale. It will drive the sale towards the company as well, the moment you see it and the moment you order the product. Now, there can be good advertisements and bad advertisements. There can be professional websites and cluttered websites. There can be premium packaging or generic packaging. So we can compare them like this. Now, good design makes communication easier, stronger, and more memorable. But before learning software, every designer must first understand the thinking behind great design. And you should know that before I actually started graphic designing course, I actually had to learn about the theory as well. Because softwares are not everything. First, you have to learn about the theory first, then you move to software. And that's why it's very important to understand why every great design came from someone who was actually a very beginner and now is advanced. Now, question number 3. What is design theory? Very, very important in terms of understanding theory and basic principle of it. Design theory is the foundation of graphic design, because it explains the concepts, principles, and creative decisions that guide every successful project. Behind every project you see every day, every movie, every project, before it's made, there is planning, there is foundation of design. Theory is maintained. Everything is done before actually creating the entire project. Now, learning theory first helps designer understand why a design works before learning how to create it using software. And because great design begins with knowledge, not tools. Remember that. Tools come afterwards, but knowledge always comes in the beginning. Now, these can be in sketchbooks, mood boards, wireframes, career planning, design process, and many other things. Now, key takeaways from this example can be software creates visuals, design theory creates designers. All right. It can also be a transition. So that's one more thing. Now, question number 4. Where can we find graphic designing? Now, you can find graphic design everywhere in the world, everywhere, because you are surrounded by it every day without you noticing. Now, it can be appearing in branding, social media, websites, packaging, newspapers, magazines, films, mobile applications, advertisements, public signage, books, and lastly, digital products. Remember, every visual experience has likely been influenced by a graphic designer. Every visual aspect of a design you see every day, it has been influenced by an inspiration from a graphic designer. He took an inspiration from somewhere and then made a version of his own. Because you have to be raw, clear, and quite authentic with your work as well. Now, this can be Netflix, Spotify, Coca-Cola, Apple, Google, Instagram, movie posters, book covers, restaurant menus, and more signs. These are all actually visual examples of companies that actually produce such amount of work, right? The key takeaway is that once you understand graphic designing, you will begin seeing it everywhere. So the number one thing is, if graphic design is everywhere, then how do professional graphic designers think differently from everyone else? So, question number 5 is, what makes someone a designer? Now, a designer deserves to observe, analyze, solve problems through visuals rather than decorating a sign or page. Designers think about the audience, the message, and the purpose behind every creative decision. Their goal is to communicate ideas effectively while creating meaningful experiences. Now, brainstorming. We brainstorm before making something. We make ideas. We add rough ideas before making our designs. We sketch our ideas. We create mood boards from different pictures, images. We create color palettes. And then we create design processes that actually, influence our design process in the ending. How we actually came up with the idea, from where we analyzed, how we actually curate our entire design page, and how our artwork is made. The key takeaway from this is that designers solve problems before they create visuals. That's very true. Every designer, whenever you see a new artwork of a designer on the profile, you will see that they have solved a problem before they made the visuals. They're solving a problem, and this can be in many ways, right? Remember, every successful design is built upon a set of timeless principles, and these principles are very important for you to understand. Now, question number 6 is, what are the principles of design? The principles of design are fundamental guidelines that help designers organize visual elements effectively. They improve readability, establish hierarchy, create harmony, and ensure that every design communicates its intended message. These principles form the backbone of every successful creative project. Alright? The 13 principles of design. The most important principles of design, which are balance, contrast, emphasis, hierarchy, alignment, repetition, proportion, movement, white space, negative space, rhythm, pattern, unity, and lastly variety. So all these 13 principles of design are important when you consider making an artwork, when you consider making a graphic design visual, anything that you want to visually communicate to your audience, to the world, through your artwork. Now we begin first of all with balance. So in definition of balance, it is a visual distribution of elements in a design so that no single area feels too heavy or too empty, because it creates stability, harmony, and comfort for the viewer. Now it matters because a balanced design feels organized and professional. It helps the audience focus on the content without feeling distracted or overwhelmed. Now, types of balance can be symmetrical balance, asymmetrical balance, radial balance. Alright? Now, number 2 is contrast. Contrast in definition is the difference between two or more design elements, such as color, size, shape, texture, or typography. It helps in distinguishing important information. It matters because without contrast, designs become difficult to read and visually uninteresting. Contrast, however, creates and guides attention and improves readability. Now, the ways in which you can create contrast can be light or dark, large or small, bold or thin, serif or sans serif, warm or cool colors. Third, emphasis. In definition, it is a process of making one element stand out more than the others. It tells viewers what they should notice first. It matters because every designer should have a focal point, because without emphasis, viewers wouldn't know where to look first. How you can create emphasis is through the larger size, colors that are bright, typography that is bold, isolation, or unique shape. Number 4 is hierarchy. In definition, it is the arrangement of design elements according to their importance. It guides the viewers through the information in the correct order. It matters because the good hierarchy improves readability and helps users to understand information quickly. The methods in this are font size, font weight, color, position, and spacing. Number 1 was balance. Number 2 was contrast. Number 3 was emphasis. Number 4 is hierarchy, and now number 5 is element. This is for alignment purposes, and alignment in definition is the placement of elements so they visually connect with one another, right? Every object should have a relationship with other elements, and it matters because proper alignment creates order, professionalism, and visual consistency. It can be left alignment, right alignment, center alignment, and justified alignment. Number 6 is repetition. Repetition, the meaning is quite simple because it means repeating, using the same visual elements repeatedly throughout a visual design to create consistency. It matters because it strengthens branding and helps unify the overall composition. These repeated elements can be included in terms of colors, fonts, icons, shapes, and layout styles. Now, number 7 is proportion. In definition, it means size, relationship between different elements within a design. It matters because proper proportions create realistic, attractive, and visually pleasing composition. It is used for showing importance towards the design, creating realism for your audience, and establishing visual harmony. Alright? Now number 8 is movement. In definition, it is a path the viewer's eye follows through a design. Designers intentionally guide attention from one element to another. Why it matters? Because good movement keeps viewers engaged and ensures they absorb information in the intended sequence. Now, ways in which you can create movement is through directional lines, arrows, color contrast, curved shapes, eye-catching images. These are all visual elements. Now, number 9 is visual white space and negative space. Definition is clear. White space, also called negative space, is the empty area around design elements. It doesn't have to be white, it simply refers to unused space. It matters because it improves readability. It reduces clutter. It gives designs a clean, modern appearance. The benefits you can get is better focus, improved readability, elegant design, and reduced visual stress. Number 10 is rhythm. A rhythm is repetition of visual elements that creates a sense of movement and flow throughout a design. It matters because it keeps viewers engaged and creates a predictable visual experience. Now, type can be regular rhythm, alternating rhythm, progressive rhythm, and random rhythm. Now number 11 is pattern. In definition, it is a repeated use of shapes, colors, lines, or textures to create decorative or structural consistency. It matters because patterns add visual interest while reinforcing a designer's identity. Common uses are backgrounds, packaging, textiles, website sections, or branding. Number 12 is unity. The definition of unity is the principle that ensures all elements of a design work together as one complete composition. It matters because a unified design feels cohesive, professional, and easy to understand. How you can achieve unity is by adding consistent colors, matching typographic repeated styles, balanced layouts, and similar spacing. The last and not least is variety. The definition is the use of different visual elements to add interest and prevent a design from becoming boring or repetitive. It matters because while unity creates consistency, the variety keeps the design engaging and dynamic. How you can create variety is through different colors, multiple shapes, various image styles, typography combinations, and diverse layouts. Alright? Now, these were the 13 principles of design, and these were the 4 principles of design you should actually apply and understand in theory form for graphic designing. Now, before we end the lesson, each of these principles deserves its own lesson. Throughout this course, we have learned and we'll explore every principle in detail with practical examples in real-world applications. And the key takeaway is that, remember, graphic designers do not guess, they apply proven design principles, and that's a very true statement. Today we learned what graphic design is, why graphic design is important, what design theory means, where graphic design exists, how designers think, introduction to certain principles of graphic designing. In the next lesson, we will be learning about lesson 2, elements of design. And before creating extraordinary designs, we must first understand the building blocks from which every design is made. In our next lesson, we will explore the elements of design and learn how simple visual elements combine to create powerful creative work, and how they actually create our entire work process. Now, of course, you guys can comment down below your questions, everything else. So now, before watching today's lesson, what did you think graphic design was, and where did you notice graphic design in your daily life? Which example helped you in understanding graphic design the most? Which principle are you most interested in learning about? If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and they may be answered in a future lesson. Right? So now remember, every masterpiece begins with a single idea, every expert begins as a beginner. And now I thank you for choosing and joining me on the first step of this creative journey. I will see you in the next lesson. Other than that, create, learn, rise, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.